Welcome to eSonMicro-LAB. This is Part 4, C# Data Type Conversion. In this tutorial, we will review Implicit Conversion, Explicit Conversion, Parse, and TryParse. Please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notifications. Please let me know in the comments section any feedback you may have. Your opinion is very much appreciated. Conversion types. Casting in type conversion enable us to assign a value of one variable type to another variable type under certain conditions. As we know, once we declare a variable, it cannot be declared again, and type conversion can be very useful for this purpose. Implicit conversion does not require any special syntax, converts a smaller number such as an integer to a larger type such as float. Explicit conversion. If data types are not compatible, then we have to use explicit conversion. Parse and TryParse. Often, we may encounter situations where we extract data from a database table in the form of a string, and we want to use it as an integer. C# provides Parse and TryParse for this purpose. Let's switch to Visual Studios and work on some examples. So let's go ahead and start with try and catch block first. Try and catch, exception, error, console dot write line, error. All right. So according to our documentation, implicit conversion does not require any special syntax, converts a smaller number such as an integer to a larger type such as float. Okay, implicit conversion. So let's create some variables. Int first number equal to 999, float second number equal to 0, second number is equal to first number, console dot write line, result second number. So let's run our application, and the results are as expected. So we already know that a float has a much larger range compared to an integer type. If we look at our table that we've created earlier, an integer, this is the range for an integer, and if we compare that with the range for a float, float is much larger. So therefore, the compiler will automatically do the conversion because float can have a much larger number versus an integer. Now, let us change things around a little bit. So let's provide a value for our second number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.33, if indicating it's a float type. And now let's go ahead and change these values. Control V, second number, Control C, and then paste. Now, we automatically get a compiler error right here indicating that cannot implicitly convert type float to int. An explicit conversion exists. All right, explicit conversion. Now let's go ahead and copy these, paste it here. So there are two ways that we can convert a float type to an integer. The first one is using casting operator, and the second one is using the .NET convert class. First, let's try cast operator. Open parentheses, and so now the error goes away. So let's go ahead and run our application. Now, here are the results, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So as I have indicated earlier, it's really important to understand what type of conversion we do, because it is very possible that we lose data. An integer cannot have a fraction, but float has a fraction, and when we do a conversion from a float to an integer, we lose this value. And the way it looks is that the compiler will automatically round off 33, and we just get the 8. But if we go ahead and change this one to 99, for instance, and we run our application again, so as you can see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and instead of 8, we have a 9. Let's try this again with 3, 3, if we don't remember. And let's go ahead and run our application again. Here, we see that we are only getting an 8 instead of a 9. The second type of explicit conversion is to use the .NET Convert class. Let's try that. Convert .int 32. So there's really not going to be any change in the results. So let's go ahead and run our application. And as you can tell, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The results are as expected. And similarly, if you go ahead and change this 3, 3 to 9, 9, we should get a 9 here instead of an 8. Let's run the application. And right here, the result, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, instead of an 8, we have a 9. Parse. So let's create a variable of type string. A string first value is equal to 369, or actually we need to put this within quotes. And also another variable of integer type, and second value is equal to first value. Console.writeLine result second value. So we're already getting an error. This is a compiler error indicating that cannot implicitly convert type string to an integer. In a situation where we have a string that contains a numeric value and we want to convert that to an integer type, we can use the integer parse method. Example, int.parse. And there we go, the error has gone away, and let's go ahead and run our application. So as you can see, the results are as expected. TryParse. Let's copy all of this and paste it here. And we can change the value of our string, the first value, and we can just add a few characters. And also, let's go ahead and set up a breakpoint right here and run the application. So it stops right here at the breakpoint. So if you press F11, as you can tell, it jumps straight into the catch block and indicating that there's an error. So let's go ahead and continue. Error. Input string was not in a correct format. So basically what we are trying to do, we are trying to convert a string that has numeric value, and also it has some characters, into an integer, and the compiler gives us an error at runtime. When we use TryParse, TryParse cannot really do the conversion. However, TryParse can give us or can let us know if we are doing the correct conversion. For example, let's create another variable of Boolean type, bool, check value. Check value is equal to int.TryParse. And for parameters, we will go ahead and include first value, Control-C, paste, comma, and we need to use the out keyword and then the second value. And here's semicolon. Now, if check value console.writeLine returned value, check value, And let's just copy this one and paste it here. And let's go ahead and delete all of this. So let's go ahead and run the application. So as you can tell, the return value is false, meaning that our conversion is not the correct type and we should not be doing this conversion. So what if we just change these back to a numeric value? Our first value is only 369. So let's go ahead and run the application. Here we see that both of them are returning true. Basically what it means that we are using the ant.TryParse to evaluate our conversion. So if the check value is true, then we can just type this value in. And at this point, we really don't need this one, so we can get rid of that. And if we run our application again, so we get the return value. So basically what TryParse is doing, TryParse is checking to see if a conversion is the correct type. If we can really convert one variable type to another variable type. If we are not sure, we can always use the TryParse to make sure that when we do a conversion, our conversion is the correct type. This is the end of this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notifications. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.